49ers 1234561 says, why was the Niners red zone D so bad? Was it because of the average run D or Salah's predictability? I think it's both of them. First of all, if you're in the red zone and you're playing wide 9, that's not helping. First of all, because in the red zone, you want to run between the tackles. Everything else is tough to do. Passing is tough. Getting to the edge is tough. If you can run between the tackles successfully, you do it. So if you're conceding that inside the 20-yard line, that's a problem. But I think the bigger problem was the coverage. It's great to play zone coverage as much as possible in the middle of the field. But when you're backed up on your 5-yard line, you can't give free releases. You can't let just running wide receivers and tight ends and running backs just run through the end zone while you're waiting, and then so you can react to the pass. I think when you're backed up that far, you really need to start using man-to-man coverage. You need to get into these wide receivers' faces and deny the throw to them in the first place. Make sure they're never open. If you're playing zone on the 5-yard line, everyone's open the first second of the play. I philosophically have a problem with, not a problem, I just disagree with Pete Carroll and Robert Saleh and all these coaches who believe so much in zone defense. Zone defense is great, but I think you need, I'm like Fangio. If I were a defensive coordinator, I would be like Vic Fangio and be mixing up both of them pretty evenly. Vic Fangio would use 2-man, so split safeties, man underneath. He'd also use cover 4, mix that in, and what else would he do? He would do 2-man and cover 4 a lot. And the reason he could do that is you'd think, well, that's weak against the run, right? Because you have your 2 safeties back. He would line up Whitner and Goldson or Whitner and Reed on 9 or 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So they were kind of in the box too. He almost had 9 guys in the box with split safeties. It's a really good front, a really good scheme. And the offense really had a tough time figuring out man zone, what was happening. That's what I would do. What Carroll and Saleh do is basically, let's just do zone 90% of the time. And we'll do man sparingly, in very few situations. And it's been proven that it works over a 16-game schedule. You can have top 5 defenses doing that. But red zone, third down, late in the playoffs, you're going to get shredded eventually if you only do zone, because it's basically a prevent defense. You're hanging back and trying to concede the short throw. Do you want to concede the short throw on 3rd and 5, on 1st and goal from the 5? I think if you're that reliant on zone defense, you got to have the fastest pass rush in the world. Not just have a good pass rush, but you need to have 4 D Fords who can sack the quarterback in a second and a half. Otherwise, that zone defense is getting shredded.